What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data points this upcoming week, not a lot. So it is going to be more of a technical driven week. A couple things to take note of. So Tuesday, the market does close early at 1 o'clock. Wednesday is closed in lieu of Christmas. So Merry Christmas to those that celebrate. And then Thursday, Friday, back to the regular grind. But one thing that might affect the broader market on Monday in a positive way is this. So government shutdown, that was kind of a hot topic on Friday. I think in reality, a lot of people really blew it out of proportion, and a lot of people are anticipating like a 10% green day, like across the board for the market because of this. In my opinion, like this didn't really cause all that much damage to the market. So as a byproduct, you might not see significant gains. I think in general, kind of move it up, but nothing substantial. So like I said, I think it's going to be more of a technical driven day. And with that said, I think that's actually very positive for SoundHound. So no fireside chats, no interviews, nothing like that planned for this upcoming week. And I don't think that would be the case across the board, right? No entities are really going to be doing anything this week. It's going to be more shutdown mode, just technicals and stuff like that. And shorts, though, I anticipate them to be fairly active as they have been. They're trying to really suppress SoundHound. So 26.83% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 88.11 million shares. One common thing that they have been doing over the last 3 trading days is completely pounding SoundHound first thing with like anywhere from 8 to 15 million within the first roughly like 30 minutes, and then they kind of just taper off, such as what you can kind of see. So net, they did increase 1.5 million shares, so they are sticking around. So I anticipate them to continue that this week, even though they have lost a good about $1.4 billion just in the last 3 months. Whoever it is, the entities have deep pockets, as I've stated. So just anticipate that to continue. Thus, a lot of volatility. And I think SoundHound's been one of those good stocks that, even though it's been volatile, it does have these crazy dips, gets bought up very fast because big money clearly sees substantial upside with SoundHound. Plus, there was this that just came out as well. Looks like the CEO did speak with 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗧, an exclusive, December the 20th. And in here, kind of talks on some pretty good things. But one thing that stood out to me is they talk on about, at the time, a 7.5 billion market cap. SoundHound is in an excellent position to continue to rise in 2025. And the CEO kind of talks on acquisitions. So there might be something in the works. But one thing as well, what stood out to me is that there's going to be more momentum with SoundHound or within SoundHound, and possibly exceeding that 50% natural growth within the revenue. And so essentially, if you kind of look at what analysts are currently forecasting for the actual earnings, not counting Daniel Ives' most recent one, kind of anticipating, for instance, on the earnings per share, like 30. So in reality, you could see a lot more gains in that regard. The revenue, you see 96 for this upcoming earnings, 177 year over year, 170 for the following one. So that's Q2 2025. So you might see some new ratings potentially pushed higher. Most likely that would come from their next earnings, but still, it was very good chat. So maybe I'll kind of put this out there, put that in the description below so a lot of you can kind of read it. But this is posted on 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗧 and kind of talks on the CES, which is upcoming. And so that is going to be held between January 7th to the 10th. So SoundHound does have a box for that. I don't think they're actually presenting or anything, but they do have a table box, whatever you want to call it. So definitely, I think the SoundHound is really moving in the right direction and building a lot of good momentum. Regarding options, so of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly between that $23 and $25 range. You also have to factor in that it is reduced of a week, right? So Wednesday off, Tuesday lower hours. So I think in reality, $25 is very achievable, and potentially if they do put out a catalyst, probably not this week, but most likely next week, then you could see a kind of a bump up in that regard. And plus next week, the following one is going to be very interesting in regards to institutions. So kind of stay tuned for that. So I'll go over that maybe this upcoming week. But moving on to the actual technicals itself. So with it at $21.76, I'll give you a quick overview of what to expect. So $20.22 is going to be that next strong support. Flip side, $24.81. So options activity is clearly pointing for it to be above that point. So again, you're going to have a lot of volatility because SoundHound's gone up very fast in a short time period. So you just have to be comfortable with volatility. If you're still in SoundHound, despite all the craziness, you clearly have diamond hands, and so you won't be really fazed by a lot of that volatility. But if you are new to SoundHound, just anticipate you might be up like $3 1 second, down $2 the next. So you just be comfortable with that. That will most likely continue for the foreseeable future. Aside from all of that fun stuff though, on the actual chart itself, so it was showing some signs of weakness, as you can kind of see, and just looking at the candles right here, this is a very telling sign that it is very volatile the last 4 days. But beside the point, Friday it was able to fight and get above that ALMA, which right now is $20.37. One key pivot for SoundHound right now is $14.94. I don't see that being touched whatsoever this week. So most likely with this being more of a technical driven week, you could actually see SoundHound move higher. And because of a lot of the volatility, you actually see stochastic RSI breaking off of that overbought status to somewhat neutral. So it is at 53. So that again could really stand to benefit SoundHound. And one abnormal thing that I've noticed by looking at crypto over the weekend, normally what you've seen is a rotation out of equities back into crypto for the weekends as those kind of spike and whatever else. That hasn't happened. And even better, one thing that I've been really monitoring is this right here. So money markets. I've brought this up in the past on how I do feel that there is going to be a very big, broad rotation that does happen out of money markets into equities and causing a huge FOMO within the broader market, something that we have not seen since 2021. But based on a week over week basis, you did see money markets did decrease by 19.61 billion. Crypto is not getting the funds. So it is fair to assume that money market, that 19.61 billion did leave to go to equities. This is why at the same time you are seeing abnormally high volume with SoundHound and a couple other spec plays. I'm sure a lot of you are following Quantum and many others that are just getting a ton of volume. So in essence, you could see a continuation of more upside. As I've stated in the past, SoundHound is a very good hybrid stock. It's a momentum stock, AI play, as well as a squeeze play. If they are to put out a good piece of news, then yeah, essentially you could see a nice squeeze. I think shorts are, like I said, have deep pockets, so they are fighting. Ultimately, what's most likely going to happen is a squeeze, but of course, for a squeeze to occur, you need all the dominoes to line up perfectly. Sometimes it's hard for that to occur, but I think in general, once SoundHound does continue to get these good deals, partnerships, it's just going to deter shorts within SoundHound. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. So in my opinion, based on just everything, I kind of am leaning towards the latter, that it is going to be roughly around that $25 range. And then dependent on that, how things kind of settle by the end of the week, then you might see a additional bump up after that. But until then, that's where I see things going, at least in the short term. Let me know if you disagree. Do you think it's going to retrace back to, let's say, the $15, $13 range? Or do you think we're going to see higher highs? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing I just wanted to share with you, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers. So definitely pop over there to take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.